What's up, guys? We are back. Sorry for the delay for the last little bit. I'll show you what I've been up to. The last event, the Annihilator Battleship, finally got one of those done, and finally got one completed. 9 days of build time for that thing. And it doesn't even have the beam capacitor on it because I just didn't have the tech lab for that yet. So it's got Focus Optics 1, which is about the same weight ratio just so it fills, and that's capped. Finally got Fleet Bay, I think 11 done, and able to fit 3 Punishers and 1 Annihilator Battleship for a 66 fleet. 2 of the Punishers are equipped with that EXAL armor and the Disruptor cannons, as well as the turning and forward movement speed thrusters, and 1 Metaphase Shield 2. This one, however, no armor, all the weapons, and 2 shields. And it bumps right up to the edge of the weight limit. I'm within, what, like 3 tons right there. So I'm happy with this. Is the best I'm able to fit right now. So yeah, 9 days of build time for 1 Annihilator Battleship. Did manage to get the Punisher, free Punisher out of the last event. So we actually have 4 Punishers now. Of course, one of them is that jury-rigged ghetto no armor Punisher, but it does the job. And now just upgrading storages because the next fleet pay upgrade is insane. 250 million antimatter and 500 million res. So it's gonna take a while just to even get the storages up there to do that. I think I got like another 3 days in just storage upgrades before I can click the upgrade, let alone farming the resources and everything else. So it's gonna be a process, but we got a new event, new alien decimation. Same prize as always. You know, we got the Battleship, the Cutter, and the Punisher. And we got the Annihilator Battleship Elite Upgrade Credit, which is that Tier 6 upgrade. Once you get Tier 5, you can apply that and get the 6. It looks like, you know, most of what it does is a little bit of cargo and whatnot. It seems to be what they all end up doing. But then we also get the Hellfire Battleship. So one of those for 900,000 points. No build time, save yourself like a week of build time, but you'd still have to fit it with weapons. So, I mean, could be good. It's still going to spend you some time fitting it with weapons, especially if you want to put some good weapons on it. You could just suck it full of manifold missiles and still have a pretty nice ship, and that would only take 2-3 days. You'd be able to do some serious damage to the event fleets, to the Reapers and whatnot, but it's going to die and have you a lot of repair time. So, I don't know. It's up to you. But we get the Xeno Beam Capacitor 2 credit, blueprint. Same thing the Beam Capacitor does, a little bit less weapon mass, I think. I think the other one was either 5 or 6, so it might be the same 30% charge speed reduction, but an extra 30% damage to squadrons. Don't know how I really feel about that. It's a pretty cool upgrade. I mean, it's a nice thing, but the recharge time on those weapons is so low. I think this fits into the whole idea of getting a battleship with a targeting computer for the Annihilator Battleship and using that really just as a cover for your other ships to take out the enemy squadrons. That seems to be what they want this to do. I don't know if that's right because that weapon takes up so much mass. I mean, you can see from the build that I had, I mean, just getting the weapons on there alone was all the mass of the ship. And if you'd add on a targeting computer, you're talking about a 40% weapon mass upgrade. So this doesn't really seem to play in until you're looking at something like a Mark 5 or a Mark 6 for really any benefit to that. The only other thing it could do is that squadron damage could be nice if it applies to the Xeno Disintegrator Cannon. So that's something that looks to be promising. Typically, the way they assign the different boost types and special slots is if it does the damage type, it applies, even if it doesn't have that effect. But we've never really had a weapon without an effect to it. So like the Xeno Disintegrator Cannon, I don't think has that charge time. It has a reload time, but I don't know if that's considered charge time. That's kind of where it gets a little gray. So if that reload time for the disintegrator ray is considered charge time, then this is fantastic to go with this disintegrator ray, because then you're going to get 30% faster firing. You're going to get that hard alpha a lot quicker. And the one is 4% with a 15 and 20. The xeno munitions 2 makes a comeback. That's the lower spread of weapons with some shield bypass and extra AoE. I think since the cluster missile was such a clusterfuck, most people didn't get it. Most people didn't go with it. It doesn't really seem like it has a use yet. Maybe one of the other added weapon types will be nice, but we'll have to see what comes. I mean, I have 2 because it doesn't make any sense to go with the 1, because you get 25, 25, 25 for 3% weapon mass, and 4% weapon mass is 50, 50, 30. So for 1% weapon mass, you're telling me you're not going to be able to fit 1% weapon mass for an extra 25% less spread and 25% more AoE? Don't even think about getting the 1. It's just a complete waste of points. We see the ENAL Heavy Talonite Armor. So that's alien and energy resist. I wasn't able to get that the last event. I might be picking up this time. That looks to be the one that we really should have on our ships for the alien Reapers. I've pretty much decided at this point that we're going to have different fleets with different armor types for the Xeno. The time that it takes for one of those, it's an entire day of refit time for the level 2, so it's not something you can just swap on and off relatively quickly, or even coin for a small bit. It's a significant investment just to put those armors. So I'm planning to put together fleets with the EN, AL, and the EXAL, and the PX, or whatever the projectile one is when that comes out, so we can have those set up. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a real need for the projectile one coming out, since most of the alien weapon right now seems to be explosive, alien, and laser, especially the barrage harvester, the explosives, and the harvester and everything else to the alien, with a little bit of the laser mixed in. We also get the regular EN heavy armor, which is just the energy resist. Might actually think about picking one of those up for just to slap on the energy resist if the refit time isn't insane on those. Those could be good. I haven't invested the points to even check it, so we'll see. We get the heavy cluster missile too, which is still shitty. I mean, the last time I looked at it, it's a reusable item. It's still shitty. 200k for one weapon is pricey, so I don't know. And it's really designed to go in your cutter only too. It doesn't have a cutter only limit, but that's the only thing that can really have the that it seemed it was released with, so I don't know what they really want there. Then we come down to it, guys. We get it again. The Xeno Disintegrator Cannon. This weapon is a monster. This is the current weapon that is destroying everybody, that is owning the meta right now. This is equal to basically double the regular disintegrator cannons. If you have Punishers, you need to get these for them. They're 110k for the big boy, 75 for the little. Get as many as you can. This is the event. Stock up. This is #1 priority, bar none. The DPS on it, 246 with a 4,250 range. So it's like your Xeno Disintegrator Cannon. It's like your Disintegrator Cannon with double the damage, built-in Focus Optics 5. And then we're going to be able to possibly, it looks like, add that on with the Xeno Beam Capacitor and get a damage to squadrons, because it affects alien damage type, and this deals alien damage type. So looks like this weapon's even going to get even better. So if you can't get all of them, just disintegrator cannons completely. The DPS is amazing on these things. Every high-level player has them. They are cruiser only, so that's pretty much right now just the Punisher. So get as many as you can for your Punishers. At 4 Punisher, it's going to cost you 550k to get enough for 1 Punisher. But they are reusable item equipments, so it's not a blueprint. So you have to get one for every slot on every ship that you want to put this on. This is solely what I'm going to be farming. We get the heavy rupture beam. Didn't manage to pick any of these up in the last event, just because just getting one of the Annihilator battleships going was enough for me. I'm probably going to skip the heavy rupture beam and see what the Xeno rupture beam actually gives. I got the regular rupture beam in the last event, and it's a nice enough weapon. It seems to do pretty good. Since I can't put the beam capacitor on it, the range sucks for me. It does seem like it does a good damage. It's the equivalent of the continuous beam that the Alien Reapers do, but energy weapon type damage. The Xeno one that we'll be seeing whenever is going to be the same thing, but with the alien damage type, which would just be probably triple, double the weight and 600 DPS the way they've been going. So I don't know. I'm just probably skipping the heavy rupture beam stuff. Just getting rupture beams on my ships enough is hard enough. I mean, I might even load up an Annihilator with disintegrator cannons, because the DPS of 6 disintegrator cannons, is higher than the rupture beams by 43 per disintegrator cannon, and the range is always better already. I mean, 2,750 versus 4,250. Add that with a possible 30% increase off of the Xeno beam capacitor too. Yeah, this could have some real nice battleship builds of disintegrator cannon. So get a shit ton of disintegrator cannons, guys. That's all I can say. Then we come down. We got the normal Demon Core pattern boxes, the core boxes, the part boxes, the antimatter, helium, blah blah blah, and that's it. They still have the 10 limit on these things, so don't expect to fill up on these items, and you'd have to buy everything out to be able to trade your points in at the end. So whatever, it is what it is. Prizes are a little interesting. So just to recap, your first priority, if you have Xenotech, Xeno disintegrator cannon, absolutely. If you don't have any Xenotech, well then, I mean, probably try and pick up the Punisher right here. It is a phenomenal ship. So, and if you do have Punishers and you have all the other Xeno ships and you get all your disintegrator cannons, number 2 is going to be this Xeno beam capacitor 2. We're not going to know for a little bit if it does affect the Xeno disintegrator cannon, which it seems like it should, because again, alien damage type, it all should affect that. I just don't know if the real question is if Kixeye actually instituted a different type of weapon reload time and set that as charge time, and everything else is still set as reload time, or if they're calling all reload time as charge time, basically. If there's only one type of delay, then this weapon's going to be incredibly overpowered. Even if it isn't, you're still most likely going to see the 30% damage to squadrons with this weapon. And on the Xeno disintegrator cannon, you're talking about an extra, 75 damage to squadrons. So that's going to be a DPS of 325 to squadrons almost. So that's going to be great. And you fit 4 of those on a Punisher, or 6 of those on a Annihilator, or 7 of those on an Annihilator Mark 1. So it's going to be fun. And they also, don't forget, it gives you that built-in health of almost 1,000 health per ship. It's a fantastic weapon. Get this, get on there, get farming this event as much as you can, and get those Xeno disintegrator cannons if you don't have them already. They cannot be beaten. Figure we can take out the large fleet I got now. It's the 3 Punishers and the battleship. So we can maybe get a battleship. There's a Vega battalion. 45. It'll be able to take it. We might actually get a shot. I don't know. The battleship is so slow, and just getting it able to fire on something with this AI is so terrible. But we're gonna see if we can do something here. We'll just bring it straight down the middle and see if we can get anything. It moved right out of range when we fired that. So there it is. So basically all the shields of a level 45 at 2 shots the battleships for a level 45 Vega fleet. You can see the range is really pitiful on those. And the range will get better with fully equipped. I have it sitting with focus optics 1 right now because it's a... Oh, that's ionized optics. Sorry. Focus optic 1s, which is 250 increased range. Even giving it beam capacitor 1 gives it a 750, but beam capacitor 3, which I have, does give it a 1200 increased range. So it's going to have probably another 50% range added to it, but it's still low. It's still really, really low. And the focus optics is a 6% increased weapon mass, while the beam capacitor is a 5. So that's why I just put on there as a placeholder, so I knew about where I was with the weight. Just to make sure I had the weight on it when I was building the ship. Because unfortunately, what they don't say, you know, anywhere on here in the stupid beam capacitor 3 is you need to have Tech Lab 10. Which, great, thanks guys. You know, that's a big help. Says now we gotta have Tech Lab 10, which is another 5-day build time, and sorry, there's not really a point in me doing that 5-day build right now because I'm going to be pumping up the resource squadrons to get the fleet bay up to 12, because fleet bay 12 can be built with the bridge at this current level. So I just got to crank up their storages to get the fleet bay build, so I can actually maybe put that second annihilator in there. Maybe by the time it's done for next month's events, I might be able to fit 2 annihilators in a fleet. This annihilator is actually being built with the level 1 beam capacitor upgrade on it, just because I actually had that. But when I put the first one in production, I didn't even have the points for the beam capacitor 1. I mean, that's just how ridiculous some of those things are getting. So we'll see what happens. It's just a waiting game at this point, unfortunately, till the next event, and then that's going to be farming like crazy to get the disintegrator cannons, and then waiting now 8 days for this annihilator battleship to finish, so I can actually start putting those on the ships. So maybe by the beginning of the month, I'll have those disintegrator cannons on my Punishers. Until then, guys, have a good time. Get out there, farm the event. Any questions, put them in there. Like, subscribe. And again, sorry for the delays in videos. I'll probably start putting out some on some other games because the time of this game is just getting to be insane. I mean, 9-day build time on a single ship. I mean, you saw that fight that we were just in. That's an hour and 15 repair time on that fleet. I mean, I definitely could have done it better. I could have piloted more manually. But that's kind of how it goes. An hour repair time. I'm kind of done here now until at least an hour, but honestly, probably more like a couple days, because an hour a day and then 16 hours for an upgrade to antimatter silo. I mean, I could try and fill my storages, but then it makes you a target for farming. So there'll be some other game videos popping in here just to fill some time, because I can't spend all my time playing this game. You can't do anything else. Just sit there and just watch the seconds tick away on an upgrade. So if you guys have any suggestions on other games to play or what you would want to see, put something down in the comments and maybe we can set something up. Later, guys.